I would like first to thank your organization, the ICD, for inviting me, and my special thanks to Mark, who make this participation in your annual conference possible. I would like also to congratulate you. I will say the opposite of what Peter said. Really, because I will be very frank with you. I'm not a culture woman. I'm not a diplomat. I'm unfortunately an engineer. Nobody is perfect, but I have a heart which is an artist heart, and I believe in culture and heart and art. I was, and she is socialist. I am liberal. I am liberal, and I will explain. Frank didn't have the subject because when I received the invitation, I was thinking, I didn't know about the concept of cultural diplomacy. I asked the previous president of Liberal International, did you heard about this concept? They said no. And I did my homework, and I went to your website, then I did some research on Google, and really I'm impressed. And I was astonished why liberals didn't think to add this dimension of cultural diplomacy in our fight, because I will explain to you what we are doing. I was elected 2 weeks ago, like the first non-European president of Liberal International, and this since 71 years, the date where our organization was created. In fact, Liberal International is the world federation of Democrat, liberals, and progressist parties. And the lady who was speaking, the madame, the Bulgarian one, I think she is liberal. I can recognize a liberal. Yeah. So this organization has more than 100 parties around the world. Has also more than 20 international organizations around the world. And just to speak about Germany, for example, the Foundation Friedrich Naumann for Freedom is a member of the organization. The ALDE, the Alliance for the Liberal MPs, is part of the organization. Those are organizations, you know. And we are represented in 5 continents, and you can imagine what diversity we have. More than 100 countries who are represented, more than 100 parties who are represented, and also what richness is it to have all those people who are coming from different environments, different backgrounds, different religions, different regions and circumstances around the world, and together we are united around the same values. So what are our values? All of us, we are constituting a global movement. We strongly believe in human reason as the foundation of progress toward a better world. Liberal International is dedicated to the right of all people to a life in which each can determine how they wish to live. Each of us is different, and our federation embraces all and cultivates this diversity among all the members of the liberal family and the human family. We see people as self-governing agents, independent authors of their own lives. A comprehensive set of rights, freedoms, and responsibilities, and this, you know, allows the pluralism of beliefs and ideas, as well as the diversity in culture and background that nourish this richness of difference without distinction based on gender, race, age, sexual orientation, religious belief, disability, or any other personal or social condition. When I was campaigning for my presidency, I had to have the support of more than 10 prime ministers in Europe, 4 heads of state in Africa, the vice president of Philippines, 2 prime ministers in the MENA region, 1 prime minister in Asia, the prime minister of Canada, and the NDI, Madeleine Albright. So I have to have the support of all those people to be able to candidate to the position of Liberal International presidency. And then when I went to them, I told them, look, this is what you are going to give as a signal to the world if you elected me. I am a woman, and I told you that the segregation against women is not only Arab or Muslim, it's worldwide. I am a woman, I am African, I am Muslim, I am Arab. You are going to give a huge and a strong message to all those populists, all those nationalists, all those people who are dividing us, all those extremists, religious and extremists, who are dividing us now and who are threatening our freedom, our daily life, our security. So the message, I think, was kept by all of them, and I got the support of all of them. And I will tell you the truth. When I went to the campaign, I was not sure that I will have all the votes, because in Liberal International, we have the Scandinavian, and I was not sure that the Scandinavian will vote for an Arabic lady. I had the total votes which were present in the Congress, 542 votes. And that make me very happy to belong to this family of liberals. So, liberals are fighting to build institutions that are democratic, accountable, and capable, and that provide equal rights and freedom for all. We promote a liberal society which is based not only on human rights, but on human relationship. You know, and you are the one who are learning about cultural diplomacy, that human being is a complex creator. Every individual human has a distinguished attitude, behaviors, and background that shape his personality and impact his daily life decision. In Liberal International, we believe that each of one of us, each community, each cultural minority has a right to develop its own culture and benefit from social and institutional recognition. Each human being deserves respect, and each must have a voice in the vital decisions that affect the quality of our life. And my second message for the campaign was that I want to be the one who builds bridges between the North and the South, the East and the West. I want, together with the liberal family, destroy the walls. And I will take benefit of the microphone and give you my opinion. I was asked this morning, what is my perspective as a new president of Liberal International? What is my perception of Europe and the EU? And what is my perception as African? I got 2 questions. First, let me give you the answer, what I said this morning. For me, the world is changing. We are living a very, very uncertain period of the history now, with the increase of populism, the increase of the thesis of nationalism, the increase of the extremists, and I'm very sorry about what happened 2 days ago in Strasbourg, the increase of violence. We are not dialoguing anymore. The violence is replacing the dialogue. The violence is replacing the diplomacy. And I said this morning that the world is changing, not only because of the populism, but because also about the technology. Digitalization is changing the face of the world, will change the jobs we know until now. You know already that Uber is the most important company of the world dealing with the public transportation. And Uber doesn't own one single car. Airbnb is the most important firms in tourism, and it doesn't own one single hotel. And the examples are huge. So digitalization is changing the world. The other challenge is climate change. Climate change is threatening not only the most vulnerable countries, the developing one like Africa, but even in Europe, even in the United States, everywhere in the world, we are facing new challenges. And the other challenge, and nobody is speaking about this challenge, the growth of the population of the South. Look at what is happening in Africa. In 2050, you will have one African beyond 4 people. So 25% of the population of the world will be African in 2050. And what the IPCC said, the IPCC is the international group of experts in climate change. What they say that in 2050, if we don't deal with the climate change issue, the migrant will be around 250 million people. How Europe and Angela Merkel in particular dealt with the 4 million of Syrians who came in this crisis of Syria. It impacted her position as chancellor. You know, look at what is happening now when you are speaking about migration. Look at the division inside Europe. In the world, look at what Trump is doing. He's building walls. So I think, and what I said concerning Europe, is that we need a leader. We need a liberal, democratic, and fair, just, audible voice. And we don't have it anymore. We are hearing very much Trump speaking, saying things, but we don't have a leadership on the values, those values which are making peace possible, which are making human more human. So my opinion, and it was an answer for Mr. Peter concerning Europe, we need a strong Europe. We need it, the world need it, not because of Africa or the impact of migration. No, the world needs a stronger Europe, a united Europe. The world to counter populism, to counter extremism. No country is able to bring the right answer alone. And if Europe is not united, I think that the world will not be better. I'm just taking, because Rang didn't want to give me the floor, I'm taking this opportunity to give this answer concerning Europe. In Liberal International, we are not broadcasting a selective offer, but calling for the conjugation of all the offers. This is how we inspire a vision of humanity which embraces us all. Today, thanks to you and thanks to this invitation, I have discovered a new concept, which is cultural diplomacy. And I can tell you that we liberals, we are fully committed to this concept. We didn't know that it exists, but we were exercising it and practicing it. And I told you about the representation of the parties we have around the world, and we are trying to develop among us the principle of respect, of acceptance of the difference, acceptance of the others. And I can also tell you, when I was elected president, one journalist came to me and asked me, Liberal International is standing for the freedom of beliefs, freedom of this, and you are Muslim, and you are a woman, and your country is not recognizing the freedom of beliefs. I said, okay. Liberal International is standing for freedom in all its dimensions. But our principles are not divisible. We are standing for freedom, for democracy, for rule of laws, for equality between men and women, for equality of opportunities and equalities of chance. We are fighting for to tackle climate change and climate justice, and we are fighting for all those values, and those values are not divisible. So Liberal International, when you are belonging to us, it doesn't mean that you will implement exactly in the same way the laws, because when we're speaking about democracy, I will take a law to defend the equality in the heritage between men and women in Morocco. I have the freedom to present the law, but the parliament will judge, the people will judge, the representative of people will judge. So maybe this text will be adopted by the parliament here in Germany, but not in Morocco. But it doesn't mean that we, liberals of Morocco, we are not sharing the same value. But our values are implemented depending on our environment, our history, our culture, the rate of education in our country. Look, if you want a real democratic country, you need to elect people, because people can vote without knowing that this is not the right person to vote for. So the rate of education in the country, etc., etc. So we are not implementing the values in the same way in each country, but we are believing in the same value. So I was telling you, today, thanks to you, I have discovered that we liberals are fully committed to this concept of cultural diplomacy. Culture is a very powerful weapon to disarm all the holders of arms, and I'm really believing in that. Why? Because you are touching the heart of people. And it's very difficult to win votes, but very difficult to win hearts. And you are touching the hearts of people, and I believe that art can change the things. Culture illuminates places where healing is needed and challenges us to develop the best in ourselves to be of the others. Cultural diplomacy will allow the world to be better and men and women to be more human. And this is what is about our fight. We are standing for human dignity, and you have a major role to play to make people aware that we are not standing for money. We don't need money to close the borders. We need to stand for human dignity. I think that the Cultural Diplomacy Academy is a perfect tool at this time of history to spread the values of tolerance, acceptance of the others, respect and love, to counter populism, opportunist, violent extremists whom are dividing us and threatening our freedom, security, and peace. As liberals, cultural diplomacy is maybe the missed dimension in our constitution, and I will work on that. I hope that together with your organization, and Liberal International, we will work to spread values of respect of human dignity, building bridges, destroying walls, to build a peaceful world where we all could progress. As President of LI, I am at your disposal to build this partnership together with ICD. Thank you very much.
So it will be my pleasure to cooperate, especially I'm a member of all the parties.
Oh, so you are already member of LI?
Yeah. Any questions, please? Just maybe one? Huh?
Okay, let me get a go.
Yeah.
In the Cold War, we had a lot of competition between the Christian Democratic International, the Socialist International, and the Communist International. Now with the decline of those political internationals, who do you compete with now globally, ideologically, for political parties?
Yeah, thank you for question. It's indeed a very, very interesting question, and I was asking myself, we were discussing this question myself. I don't think we are competing with any international order like socialist, communist, etc. This is not the issue anymore. We are competing against populists. We are competing again. We want to create liberal faces. We want to create a value-based narrative, story. You know, I will not, my friend is socialist, but I agree completely together with her on the situation of women, and thank you, Nizha, for your fight for the women's rights. But I think that the debate now is not anymore which communists, don't tell me. Someone this morning said communist doesn't know the truth, so he's not lying. He doesn't know the truth. He can't lie. Forget about communism. Socialism. Do you think that the socialism now is the right ideology for the globalization, the free and fair trade we are standing for the liberalization of the market, for who do well wins well? I don't want to attack any ideology, but I think that the debate now is to stand against the one who are dividing us. And the one who are dividing us are not the socialists, are the authoritarian regime, the nationalist, the populist, the extremist, the violent extremist. Those are the one I want to compete with and I want to stand against.
Well, that's an interesting remark because socialist politics is connected with the distribution of resources. Distribution of resources in the modern world is possible in one country.
Doesn't exist anymore.
Imagine such a way, such a handling in all over the world. So that, well, I have the same feeling that socialists, they have less, how to say, less chance to be successful in the world, because if we would like to see one unique world, look, climate is changing, we have to be unique, we have to survive, you know. We have problems which cannot be solved by one nation, by one state. And that means that, well, liberals have more chance to succeed. This ideology, you know, overcoming these borders. You know, then again, I'm not touching the borders themselves. You know. It's a very complicated issue. Very, very, very. Well.
Yeah.
Last thing, it's not a question.
Yeah.
It's just that I really wanted to say that I personally enjoyed your speech very much.
Yeah.
Thank
and
you.
I'm so proud that we have Muslim
Thank you.
women
Thank you.
examples like you. So
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.